What's going on, you guys? This is Chris with Patch Boy Dar, patches for the culture. We are going to be making a custom patch today from start to finish. I'm going to show you guys how I do the digitizing. Then I'm going to export it to my USB stick, load it up to the machine, and we're going to stitch it out. Let's go ahead and hop on this computer. I already have my Wilcom hatch embroidery digitizer loaded up. I even got the file already imported. So let's go ahead, hop over on the computer, and we will digitize this thing. For you beginners out there, you don't want to miss this part. Let's go. Over here on Wilcom hatch, you see I got it loaded up. I already got the design right here. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to click on the object right over here on the right hand side. You see where it says object, this object column. If you right click on there, it'll pull up your little it'll pull up your options, and I'm going to lock that layer. The shortcut for locking a layer is K on the keyboard. Now that that layer is locked, I'm going to start digitizing it. And the reason I locked it is because I don't want it accidentally moving around. And so over here in this column, so there's a bunch of different options on this left side of the column on Wilcom hatch, the embroidery digitizer. But what we're going to be using is digitize right here. What we're going to be using is digitize close shape. That's what we're going to be using. So I'm going to click on digitize close shape, and with this design, as you can see, is pretty much just a bunch of straight lines. So this is going to be super easy to digitize. There's no curves or anything like that. I actually think I'm going to start here on this point right there. So at this point, I'm going to do a left click. And the reason I do a left click is because left clicks in Wilcom hatch make straight lines, as right clicks will make curved lines. So this design is nothing but straight lines. So all I'm going to be doing for this tutorial is doing left clicks. So I'm going to start there, and I'm going to come down to this line here. I'm going to left click right there. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to left click right there. Then I'm going to come to this point, do a left click, and so on and so forth. I'm going to just keep doing these left clicks. Another left click right there. Left click right there. Another left click, and then so on and so forth. We just left clicking over here. Super simple. I don't really even have to zoom in. And so I just left click on this last point right here, and instead of left clicking right there, I'm just going to hit enter on my keyboard, and there we have it. So now from here, I'm going to come up to reshape, and I'm going to look at where my start and end points are. So there's my start point. This green box is my start point. This red cross is the end point. So I think what I want to do is change my end point to see if it'll manipulate any of these lines right here. Let's see, I'm going to try to move it up to here. If I move it up there, it gives me this line here and lines right here. Let's see. So right now I'm just trying to find the best possible place to put my end point, so that way I don't have these like separation lines here. This isn't too bad. It looks better from where it originally had the end point. So I think I might leave my endpoint right there on this corner. So I will have a little mark right there, but that's fine. Like you can see it on the digitizing software, it makes this like weird line, but when it actually stitches out, you don't see it. I'm not going to change my stitch angle. It's at 15 degrees, so I'm gonna leave it like that. 15 degrees is the typical default stitch angle on Wilcom hatch whenever I make a design. Like I said, I can go in there and change it if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it how it is. So now that that's done, I'm going to unlock this my image layer. I'm going to go ahead and delete it because I don't need it anymore. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this object here. On my keyboard, I'm going to Control C and then Control V. That's going to make a duplicate of the design. Or you can right click on it. You can hit copy and then right click again and hit paste. So either way you want to do it, there's two different ways you can copy and paste an object. So whichever method you want to go with, it's all on you. And some of you probably wondering, why did I duplicate this object? Well, I'm going to show you why, because I'm going to make a simple outline. And there's different ways you can make an outline around the design. You can copy and paste it, or you can go into, or you can go over here, back over in our menu on the left hand side, and you can create layouts. This will also give you the option of creating the outlines, a satin stitch border around your patch. But what I did here is I'm going to go on my first object. I'm going to change it to white because that's the color of the design. My second object here, I'm going to change it to white as well. But I'm going to come up here where it says fill and outline. And I'm going to change it to an outline. And as you can see on the design here, it gave us a single stitch outline. But over in this box, our object properties, there are different object property boxes. So if I went to the first object here, you see my object properties changed as opposed to this object here. That's because one is a fill and the other is an outline. So depending on if you're doing a fill or an outline, you will have different object property settings. So back over here on my second object, I'm going to turn it into a satin. You see it gives me a border around the entire design. And now what I can do here is I can come in down where in my stitch settings, my width, I can change my width. So if I want my lines to be a little thinner, I can change that 0.098 to 0.060, and my lines got a little thinner, as you can see. So you can always come down here and play around with the thickness of your satin stitch borders. So I have it at 60. Let me try 70. 70 is not too bad. Looks alright. But now that I have that set, I have an outline. I'm going to show you the other method of creating an outline. So I'm going to delete that object. And once again, I'm going to select the first object here. Then I'm going to come into this then I'm going to come into our toolboxes menu right over here on this left side. I'm going to create layouts. And from create layouts, I'm going to come down to this one right here with the little flower icon. And it says create outlines and offsets. So I'm going to click on that one. It's going to pull up this menu here. So I don't want an offset outline, so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and click this box and turn it off. And now over here is going to do, I want it to do a satin, so I'm going to change this to satin. It's going to, the default color it'll make it is green, and I'll leave it on green for now. And I'm just going to hit OKs. So as you can see, it created an outline. This corner still has that same looking effect, but it's alright. But for this object, I do want it made it 0.059 in the width. I'm going to change that to 75. Give it a, I changed it to 75, make it a little bit thicker. Alright. I don't like how some of these corners look. Let me see if I can mess around with these a little bit. I'm going to just pull them in some so that way, yeah. Also too, I am on True View. So True View shows me what the design will look like with the stitch effects. If you don't want to see that option, you can come up here where it says True View and you can turn that off. And it'll just show you, it'll make the design somewhat see-through, and it allows you to see all of your like stitch angles and like the stitching effects. I'm going to go ahead and turn True View back on so I can look right here. And the reason I'll turn it off is just so I can see how much is overlapping here. And it's hard to see it, so let me change the color of this guy. There we go. So I changed it to red, so now you can see it a little bit better with the contrast. So you got the pink, which is the white, then the red, which is our satin stitch border. And I can come in here and I can see that the red is overlapping on the pink nicely. I want to make sure it's all overlapping, so that way we don't end up with no stitch separations. So it all looks good. You might hear my fan, my computer or laptop fan kicking in. It's an overboost mode. So there we have it. And of course, in the design, this red is going to be white, but I'm leaving it red for now, just so there'll be a pause in between the first object and the satin stitch border object. Yeah. Oh, I want to come up here and change this guy too. Turn tree view. I'm gonna reshape it. Put the point like more right here. Might even pull it down a little bit more. Okay. Yes indeed, yes indeed. So that looks good. Now what I need to do is I need to select both the objects. So I'm gonna select one object, and I'm gonna hit Control, or I'm gonna hold Control on the keyboard and click this other object. And now both are selected. And up here, my sizing. Right now I'm at 3.35 inches by 3.102 inches. The customer just wants it 3 inches, so that way he can put these on hats. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this, and just on my keyboard I'm gonna hit 3 to make it 3 inches. And as you can see, as you can see, let me select them both again. Oh, what happened? I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna hit enter. So as you can see, my width went down to 3 inches, and my height went down to 2.778 inches. So we want to keep it in proportion. I don't want to distort the design at all. So I'm gonna leave it like that. And since I scaled it down a little bit, if I click back on my satin stitch border object, you'll see that the stitch thickness went down a little bit. But I'm gonna just take it right back up to 70, like so. And there we have it. So here's the design. Alright, so the next thing to do here is we're going to export it onto our USB stick. So to export it onto my USB stick, I'm going to come up to File on my software. I'm going to go to Export Design. It's going to pull up this window right here. And what I'm going to do is come down. Let me expand it so you guys can see. I'm going to come down to where my USB stick is, which is this right here. Well, actually, my USB stick is this right here. And I'm going to save it into custom patches, just so I can find it easier. I'm saving it as a PES, but if you hit this little drop down arrow, it gives you all the options for whichever file type you will need. For the Brother machines, the Brothers use PES files, so I'm going to go ahead and hit PES, and then I'm going to go ahead and save it. So now it's saved into that USB stick. So I'm going to eject the USB stick and loaded it onto my Brother machine, the Brother Persona. We will be using the Brother Persona for this design. Hopefully you guys know how to eject a USB stick from your computer. Alright, so I ejected the USB stick. Here it is right here. As you guys can see, there's the USB stick right there. We're going to load it up on the embroidery machine, but let me change the angle so you guys can see what's going on. Alright you guys, so here we are at the Brother Persona. This has been an awesome machine now that I've owned it for, how long have I owned this guy? A couple months now, I believe. This machine is a great machine. This is what we will be making this custom design on. So I got my USB stick right here. And my USB stick, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in to the side of the Persona right there. And now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the USB button right there in the center. Let me zoom in. So I'm going to hit this USB button right here in the center. And that's how you load up all your embroidery files when it's on the USB stick. So now on the screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my customs folder because that's where I saved it. So I'm going to hit my custom. I'm going to wait for that to load up. And it should be on the last page. So let me go almost the last page. Let's see. Where is it at? There it is. So it was on page 16. So there's my star right there. I'm going to go ahead and select the star, transmitting. So there's my design right there on the screen. I'm going ahead to hit this set button. And I'm not going to move it around at all. And as you can see, it got the white and it got the red. But the red is really just going to be a white and satin stitch border. But I made it red just so the machine will stop. So over on my screen, I'm going to hit embroidery. And now it is ready to start embroidering. All I got to do is hit the little lock button on the screen. My button turns green. And I'm going to go ahead and start it. It's super easy to get your designs onto a USB stick, you guys. So this design is going to take 9 minutes in total. Right now I'm stitching at 500 stitches per minute. I'm going to go ahead and take it up to 600. And we're going to crank this thing out. So that took my time down to 8 minutes, I believe. Like I said, this is Brother Persona, also known as the Brother PRS100. This has been a great machine. Let me change the angle for you guys so you guys can see that star stitching out. There it is right there. And so let me get a more top down from the front angle. So I'm going to let you guys watch this thing stitch out. This was a super easy tutorial right here. You couldn't ask for a more simple custom design like this because it was just a simple design. All I have to do was a bunch of left clicks which makes straight lines. It's a single color design. It's only 3 inches. Not only that, the client only wants one copy of it for now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cranked out. And once it's done, I'm going to get my shipping label and everything and ship it off to them. Alright, so it just finished up with that first portion of the design, which is that just like the white fill stitch. And if I didn't make this outline stitch red, it would have just kept going. But I wanted to make sure it stopped on that position just so you guys can see. So I'm not going to change the color that we have on there. We are using just some white thread from Madeira. We're going to go ahead and lock it and start it again, and it's going to do the satin stitch border. So it's going to do that first single run stitch across the entirety of the embroidery, and after it does that single run stitch, it should either do a zigzag stitch or it might go right into the satin stitch stitching. Yep, so it's going right to the satin stitch stitching. The width of the satin stitch stitching wasn't that big, so it's not doing the zigzag stitch. But in the digitizing software, you can change it so that way it will include a zigzag stitch prior to doing your satin stitch. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down, make it a little bit slower. That's one of the cool things I like about this Brother Persona and other Brother machines like it is you can come in there, you can easily change the stitch speed, your stitches per minute, the SPM. It's definitely nice to have a machine where you can change that that speed. Because sometimes I like to have the machine go slower. Other times I like for it to go fast, but I usually keep it around that 500 stitches per minute mark. But I can always take it up if I wanted to. This thing is coming out nicely, you guys. It's coming out nicely. Alright you guys, so as you saw, this design just finished up embroidering. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off the frame. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys check it out. Look at that. Turned out really good. Even the back looks good. Always got to check your back to look for make sure your tension and stuff is right. So everything looks good here. I'm gonna go ahead and apply my fray check and get this design ready to ship out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This video was pretty quick. It was a super simple design. So I decided I wanted to show you guys from start to finish, from digitizing to embroidering. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. For any of you new viewers, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that way you're notified when we upload future content. Oh, before we head out of here, if you need yourself some custom patches, be sure to click the link down in the description box below. It'll take you to our Etsy shop and you can go ahead and send us a message to get yourself a custom embroidered patch made, or if you want an embroidery file, click that link down in the description box below and send us a message. See you on the next one.